Welcome to the deep dive. You guys send in a ton of stuff about dental at cost articles, research papers, even some personal notes. This is really interesting stuff.
Yeah, definitely fascinating.
So imagine a world where going to the dentist doesn't mean totally breaking the bank.
Right.
That's the kind of future dental at cost is going for. And we're diving into how they plan to do that, the tech they're using, and what it all means for you.
Yeah, it's a pretty bold idea, turning the whole traditional dental care model upside down.
Okay, let's unpack this. First things first, dentures made at home.
At home.
This is like seriously DIY, right?
Exactly. Dental at Cost actually teaches you how to make all sorts of dental appliances. We're talking dentures, crowns, even aligners.
Wait, hold up. Aligners too?
Yeah.
Like braces?
Uh-huh.
I'm already hooked, but I have to admit, my first thought was, is this even legal?
Oh, it totally is, as long as it's just for you, personal use.
Okay.
And it's not as crazy as it sounds. People have been making their own dental stuff for years, often because they just couldn't afford traditional care.
Right.
Dental at Cost is bringing that practice into the mainstream, making it safer and more accessible.
That makes sense. It's like they're taking something people were already doing out of necessity and giving them the tools and the knowledge to do it well.
Exactly.
But before we get into the how, let's talk about the why. We've got some pretty alarming statistics here about this whole dental care crisis in the U.S.
Yeah, it's a crisis that's been building for a while.
Yeah.
Did you know that almost 70 million adults in the U.S. don't even have dental insurance?
Wow.
That's a huge number of people.
It is. And for low-income families, the situation is even worse.
Right.
They end up paying over 7 times more out of pocket for dental care than wealthier families.
Exactly. And that's not even factoring in the cost of dentures, which can be on average around $5,000?
Yeah, it's a lot.
So it's no wonder so many people are just delaying or completely skipping necessary dental care.
So dental at cost steps in as a potential solution. They're not just trying to lower costs. They're aiming to totally disrupt the system. It's kind of a David versus Goliath story, isn't it?
It really is. Their approach is built on the idea that high dental costs aren't just because of, expensive materials. It's the markups in that whole traditional system that really inflates those prices.
Okay, so instead of battling that system head on, they're creating an alternative.
Right.
One that empowers individuals to take control of their own dental health. And it all started with a pretty incredible story.
Yeah.
Right? Something about the Philippines.
You're right. The founder, a German engineer, saw firsthand how inaccessible dentures were for many people in the Philippines. So he started teaching high school students how to make dentures for their families using affordable, readily available materials.
High school students making dentures. That's amazing. And I bet it was incredibly rewarding for them to be able to help their families in such a tangible way.
Oh, absolutely. And the success of that grassroots effort in the Philippines that kind of sparked the idea for dental at cost, the founder realized that this wasn't just a problem in developing countries, it was a global one, even the U.S.
Yeah.
Dental care was becoming a luxury that many people just couldn't afford.
Wow.
So
he took inspiration from business networks and envisioned a similar structure for dental at cost.
Exactly.
That's how they came up with these community-based chapters.
Exactly. He wanted to create spaces where people could learn these skills, share knowledge, and support each other. Kind of like a maker space for dental care.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Okay, so let's dive into these chapters. What exactly can people expect when they join a dental at cost chapter?
Well, the chapters are designed to be practical and low cost. They often utilize available space in community centers or even unused dental offices. The idea is to avoid the overhead of a traditional dental clinic.
That makes sense, but what about the actual learning process?
Mm-hmm.
I'm picturing myself trying to make a crown and ending up with a mouthful of plastic.
Well, that's where the experts come in. Each chapter is run by experienced dental professionals, typically dental lab technicians or prosthodontists.
Yep.
They provide training guidance and support throughout the entire process, making sure that members are following the proper procedures and using equipment safely.
Okay, so there's definitely professional oversight involved, but this isn't just about making dentures in your basement. We mentioned earlier that dental at cost embraces digital technology like intraoral scanners and 3D printing.
Right. That's one of the things that makes this so innovative.
Yeah.
They're bringing cutting-edge technology that would normally be out of reach for most individuals right into these community chapters.
So walk me through this. How would a dental at cost member actually use these tools to create, say, a crown?
Okay, so let's imagine you need a new crown first. You would use an intraoral scanner, which is this handheld device that takes a digital impression of your teeth, It's a lot more comfortable than those traditional gooey molds.
I can imagine no more gagging on that pink stuff. Okay, so you've got your digital impression, then what?
Then that digital scan is used to design your custom crown using special software. Once the design is finalized, it's sent to a 3D printer, which literally prints out your crown in layers of dental resin.
Wow, that's incredible. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but it's happening right now in dental at cost chapters.
It is, and this technology is only getting better and more user-friendly. Dental at Cost is committed to keeping their training up to date so members have access to the latest advancements.
It's like future-proofing your dental care. So you've got your tools, your materials, expert guidance, and even cutting-edge technology. What's the cost of all this?
It's incredibly affordable membership, and a Dental at Cost chapter is just $15 per month if you pay for the year up front.
Wow.
And you can even bring guests to the chapter up to 10 times a year, which is a great way to kind of introduce someone to the whole concept.
That's amazing. It's less than most streaming services. Okay, so we've got the affordability factor, the community aspect, access to expertise, and cutting-edge technology. This all sounds fantastic, but I'm sure some people are wondering about the safety aspect. Is it really safe for people to be making their own dental appliances? What about the risk of things going wrong?
That's a perfectly valid concern, and Dental at Cost takes safety very seriously. That's why every chapter partners with licensed dentists.
So it's not just a free-for-all where anyone can walk in and start making dentures.
Not at all. These dentists play a critical role in ensuring safety and providing guidance. They're there to assess each member's needs, advise on which procedures are safe to DIY and which ones absolutely require professional intervention, and just kind of oversee the overall process.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's a collaborative approach combining DIY with professional oversight. Members are empowered to take control, but with expert support every step of the way. What I'm really curious about is the range of things people can actually learn to make themselves. We talked about dentures and crowns, but what else is on the list?
Well, besides dentures and crowns, members can learn to make veneers, night guards, retainers, even whitening trays. And yes, you heard that right earlier, aligners are on the list too.
Wait, so people can potentially straighten their own teeth? I have no idea.
It is possible, but as with any dental procedure, there are limitations. The dentists who partner with the chapters are there to make sure members are making safe and informed decisions about what they choose to DIY.
So it's all about responsible DIY with expert guidance to ensure safety and effectiveness.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't about replacing dentists altogether. It's about creating a system where people have more options and more control over their own dental care. It's about expanding access to care, not eliminating the role of professionals.
I see what you mean. It's about creating a more collaborative and affordable system.
Precisely. And the impact of this model goes far beyond individual cost savings. It has the potential to disrupt the entire dental care industry.
That's what I find so fascinating. It's not just about fixing a problem. It's about creating a paradigm shift.
Right.
Okay, listener, we're going to take a quick break here, but when we come back, we'll dive even deeper into the potential impact of dental at cost, both for individuals and the dental industry as a whole. Stay tuned. All right, we're back and ready to dive even deeper into this whole dental at cost thing. But before the break, we were talking about how this model could be a game changer for, people struggling with the cost of dental care.
Yeah.
But I'm curious with the bigger picture. Like, how could dental at cost disrupt the entire dental industry as a whole?
Well, it's definitely shaking things up. Imagine a world where millions of people are empowered to take care of their basic dental needs at like a fraction of the cost. That's bound to put pressure on traditional dental practices to adapt.
I can see this like the rise of, ride-sharing apps and how they totally challenge the taxi industry.
Yeah.
Suddenly there's a new player in town offering a more affordable and convenient alternative.
That's a great analogy. Dental at cost could trigger a simile shift in the dental landscape. Traditional practices might need to rethink their pricing, offer more flexible payment options, or even incorporate some of these DIY technologies themselves to stay competitive.
It's like a ripple effect, forcing the entire industry to become more responsive to consumers' needs and hopefully more affordable in the long run. But what about the impact on dental education? Could dental at cost influence what's being taught in dental schools?
It's certainly a possibility as more people embrace this whole DIY approach. Dental schools might need to adapt their curricula to include training on these new technologies like intraoral scanning and 3D printing.
It's almost like a democratization of dental knowledge. Instead of keeping this information solely within the realm of professionals, it's being shared and made accessible to everyone. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the career opportunities dental at cost presents. I imagine there are some unique possibilities for dental professionals who want to be part of this whole movement.
Absolutely. For dental lab technicians and prosthodontists, running a Dental at Cost chapter could be an incredible entrepreneurial opportunity. They get to set their own hours, build their own businesses, and be at the forefront of this innovative approach to dental care.
It's like they're becoming pioneers in a new frontier of dentistry. And what about dentists? Could they benefit from partnering with Dental at Cost chapters?
Definitely, especially for younger dentists just starting out, partnering with a chapter could be a great way to build their patient base and gain experience.
And for established dentists, it could be a way to offer their services to a wider population, including those who might not have been able to afford traditional dental care in the past.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation, creating opportunities for both patients and professionals.
And let's not forget the potential impact on dental tourism. People travel all over the world for affordable dental care, but what if that care was available right in their own communities?
That's a great point. Dental at Cost could significantly reduce the need for people to travel for dental work, especially for procedures like dentures or crowns, which can be quite expensive in the U.S. It could also boost local economies by keeping those healthcare dollars within the community.
It's amazing to think about the far-reaching implications of this model. But let's circle back to the DIY aspect for a moment. I'm sure some listeners are wondering about the skill level required to make these dental appliances. Is it something anyone can learn, or do you need to be, super handy?
It's definitely more accessible than you might think. Dental at Cost provides comprehensive training, breaking down even complex procedures into manageable steps.
So it's not like you need to be a master craftsman or have years of experience to be successful.
Not at all. The training is designed for people with a wide range of skills and experience levels. And remember, the chapters have experienced professionals on hand to provide guidance and support every step of the way. Plus, with these digital technologies, a lot of the process is automated. Once you've taken the digital scan, the software helps you design the appliance, so there's less room for error.
That's reassuring. It sounds like Dental at Cost has really thought through the entire process from training to safety to ensuring that the technology is user-friendly. But I'm still curious about those digital tools we mentioned, intraoral scanners and 3D printers. But how exactly do they work, and what's the learning curve like? Could you walk us through a specific example, like creating a night guard?
Of course, let's say you grind your teeth at night and you need a custom night guard in the past. You'd have to go to the dentist, get messy impressions taken, and then wait weeks for the night guard to be made in a lab with Dental at Cost. The process is much simpler and faster. First, you'd use the intraoral scanner, which is like a small wand with a camera on the end. You just move it around your mouth, and it captures a 3D image of your teeth and gums.
Like a magic wand for your teeth.
Exactly, and because it's digital, there's no need for those gooey impressions. The scanner sends the 3D image to a computer with special software that helps you design the night guard. The software is very intuitive. You basically just follow the prompts and make a few adjustments to customize the fit. Then you send the design to the 3D printer, which creates the night guard layer by layer using a special dental resin.
So you could potentially go from scan to finish night guard all within a few hours.
That's the goal, and the results are incredibly accurate and precise because you're working with digital models, plus the materials used are the same high-quality materials used in traditional dental labs.
This is seriously mind-blowing. I'm starting to see why people are so excited about this. It's not just about saving money. It's about taking control, learning new skills, and being part of a community that's redefining what's possible in dental care. But let's address the elephant in the room. Some people might be thinking this sounds too good to be true. Are there any potential downsides or challenges that Dental at Cost might face?
That's a great question. While Dental at Cost offers an exciting alternative, there are definitely some potential challenges to consider. One is the issue of quality control. While the chapters have expert guidance, there's always the potential for variability in the quality of the appliances made by different members.
So how does Dental at Cost address that concern?
They're very upfront about the importance of, following procedures and using materials correctly. The training emphasizes quality control, and the chapters are designed to be collaborative environments where members can learn from each other and share tips. Plus, remember those partner dentists, they can provide feedback and ensure that the appliances meet certain standards.
That makes sense. So it's not just about teaching people how to make things. It's about instilling a culture of quality and safety.
Exactly. Another potential challenge is scalability right now. Dental at Cost is a relatively small organization with a limited number of chapters. To truly make a nationwide impact, they'll need to expand rapidly and reach a critical mass of members.
That's a good point. And expansion requires resources, both financial and human.
Absolutely. Recruiting qualified dental professionals to run the chapters is key, and ensuring consistent quality control across a larger network will be crucial. They'll also need to navigate the regulatory landscape, which varies from state to state, and address any potential legal challenges that might arise.
It sounds like there are some significant hurdles to overcome, but from what we've seen so far, Dental at Cost seems committed to tackling these challenges head on. They're not just idealistic dreamers, they're pragmatic problem solvers who are passionate about making dental care accessible to everyone.
I agree. They've identified a real need, and they're coming up with creative and innovative solutions. It's definitely a movement worth watching. And who knows, maybe this is just the beginning of a much larger shift in how we approach healthcare as a whole.
Now that's a thought-provoking idea. Let's explore that further after a quick break. Stay with us. Okay, we're back. And, before the break, you mentioned Dental at Cost as a blueprint for a larger shift in healthcare. Good work for other healthcare needs, too. It's a pretty radical concept.
It is radical, but that's what makes it so exciting. We've
Yeah.
been kind of stuck in this traditional healthcare model for so long, and it's clearly not working for everyone.
Right.
Dental at Cost is showing us that there are other ways to do healthcare,
Right.
ways that, empower people and put them back in control of their own well-being.
So let's brainstorm here. What other areas of healthcare could benefit from this kind of like DIY, community-driven approach? I mean, what immediately comes to mind for me is chronic conditions,
Yeah.
like diabetes or hypertension, things that require, ongoing management.
That's a great example. Imagine community chapters where people with diabetes could learn how to monitor their blood sugar levels, adjust their diets, and maybe even create certain medical supplies like testing strips themselves at a fraction of the cost.
It would be huge, especially for folks who are struggling to afford, the ever-increasing cost of diabetes management.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the financial savings. It's about giving people the knowledge and the tools to, actively manage their own health.
Exactly. It's about shifting the paradigm, from passive patient to informed and empowered individual.
Right.
And this model could extend to other areas as well, like mental health support groups, chronic pain management programs, or even physical therapy exercises that people could learn and practice together in like a supportive community.
It's incredible to think about all the possibilities, and I think this kind of ties into a larger trend we're seeing in healthcare, the rise of personalized medicine and the focus on preventative care. Dental at Cost is, in a way, kind of a pioneer in this movement, putting that power back into the hands of individuals.
I couldn't agree more. It's about recognizing that individuals are the best advocates for their own health.
Right.
They know their bodies best.
Yeah.
And when you give them the right tools and the support, they can make informed decisions that lead to better outcomes.
It's like that old saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Right.
Dental at Cost is teaching people to fish for their own health. That's a really powerful concept.
It is. And as with any paradigm shift, there will be challenges and resistance. The traditional healthcare system is deeply entrenched, and there will be those who are threatened by this new way of thinking.
That's understandable. I mean, change can be scary, especially when it's disrupting the status quo.
Yeah.
But I think the momentum is building for a more patient-centered approach to healthcare, and Dental at Cost is at the forefront of that.
Absolutely. And the beauty of this model is that it's not an all or nothing thing. It can coexist with traditional healthcare, offering an alternative for those who want more control and affordability.
Right.
And in the process, it might even inspire the traditional system to adapt and become, more responsive to people's needs.
It's like a healthy dose of competition that could ultimately benefit everyone. And I think that's what makes Dental at Cost so inspiring. It's not just about fixing teeth. It's about reimagining what's possible in healthcare.
Well said. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want?
Yeah.
A healthcare system that's accessible, affordable, and truly puts people first.
Absolutely. Okay, listener, we've covered a lot of ground today, from dentures made at home to, the potential for a healthcare revolution. But as always, we want to leave you with something to chew on. Could this Dental at Cost model be the spark that ignites a broader movement towards more accessible, affordable, and empowering future for healthcare? It's a question we're pondering.
It certainly is, and I encourage everyone to stay curious, keep asking questions, and be open to new possibilities. The future of healthcare is in our hands.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Dental at Cost. We'll get you next time on the Deep Dive.